Hey everyone, it's technology expert Burton Kelso with another tech tip to help you get the most out of the technology in your life. Today we're talking about organizing files on your Macintosh computers. It can be a challenge, but it can be done. Many Mac users struggle with trying to find important documents and photos, and you shouldn't have to struggle because it's pretty easy to organize those files because it's all built into the Macintosh operating system. Part of that also is having a little know-how to make sure that you are organizing the files on your Mac. We're going to switch screens like we always do. Take a look at my Mac, which doesn't have any files on it, but it'll at least give you an idea of how you should organize those files on your Macintosh. So what's the first thing that you need to do when it comes to organizing those files? Well, you need to put things in their proper place. It's very important to do that when it comes to your computer. Because if you don't put stuff where it belongs, you're never going to find it. Well, how does that work? Pretty darn simple. Let's switch screens and take a look. All right, let's maximize this Macintosh screen. And in the Mac operating system, you've already got folders that organize all those files. It's pretty darn simple. Now, if you go to Finder, which is your main menu on your Macintosh, and then hit Go, uh, once you get the drop down, you can just go to Computer. Once you're under Computer, you want to click on your Macintosh hard drive disk, and then once you go under your Macintosh hard drive disk, you want to click on Users. Click on your user with the house. The house is the designation to let you know that you're logged into your profile as opposed to another profile that may be on that Mac. Let's get back to our mission at hand. Okay, on our Mac, once you double click on the house, then it'll give you a list of all the organized folders on your Mac. And you've got applications, which you don't want to deal with. You've got desktop, documents, downloads, movies, music, pictures, and even a public folder if you want to share things with people outside of your network. As you can see, it's pretty darn simple to keep that stuff organized when it comes to your Mac. So, simply stated, if you have a document, you definitely want to put it in the documents folder. If you have a picture, you want to make sure that you stick those pictures in the pictures folder because when it comes time to look for stuff, it's going to make it a lot easier to find those files. Now, let's move along and figure out what our next tip is. I like how I said figured out because I already know what it is. Number two, you're going to love this. I think a lot of people can relate to this. Don't store stuff on your desktop screen. It's hard, I know, and I'm guilty of it as far as my computer is concerned. But you don't want to store those files on your desktop. Why is that? Well, other than that ugly mess that you just saw on the screen there, it can definitely make your Macintosh slow down. Believe it or not, it will definitely slow down that Mac because when your Macintosh starts, one of the first folders that it goes to is the startup folder, or not the startup folder, but the desktop. And so if your desktop is cluttered, then it's definitely going to slow your Mac down. So you really need to take steps when you're saving stuff to your computer not to store it to the desktop. It's not a good idea. Your desktop on your Mac is supposed to be a nice clean screen where you can enjoy your wallpaper. So I hate to tell you this, but your desktop really should look like this. Now, if you want and have to store some of your stuff on your desktop, you can create an alias to folders under, say, documents or pictures or anything. So, to give you an example, let's say there's a folder that for my documents that I want to save. I can take that folder and I can make an alias of that folder. And what it'll do is it'll make a duplicate copy of that folder. Well, not a duplicate, but a shortcut to that folder under documents. So if you have aliases sitting on your desktop, you don't want that much clutter. You want to group your folders together, but the alias will take up less space on your computer as opposed to having actual files stored on your desktop, which will cause your computer to slow down. What's our next tip? Well, you want to give files or in folders their proper name. It's very important that you label stuff what it's supposed to be called. Because if you download a bunch of images and you just have a IMG as an image file, it's going to be very impossible to find that file. So keep in mind that you need to take steps to rename all your files on your computer so that you can find them easily. Macintosh makes it so simple with Finder, and we'll switch screens here, that you can just click on the magnifying glass for Finder at the very upper right hand corner and just type in the name of a file under the Spotlight search. If your file's named properly, then Spotlight will find all variations of those files on your computer, and it'll just make life a lot simpler for you when it comes time to look for that important document that you desperately need. And then finally, as far as organization is concerned, it's important to back up your data. I know I keep preaching about this, but backups are very important to do, especially with Time Machine on your Mac, because the good thing about Time Machine on your Mac is that if you've got your files organized, then when it comes time to restore that stuff, and whether it be a new computer or you have to restore from a catastrophe, then utilizing Time Machine to back up that stuff will make sure that your files stay organized, and it'll carry on the tradition of organization from your old computer to the new computer. Because sometimes when we copy files from old computers to the new and we don't use backup, it becomes very hard to make sure that you keep those files organized. So be sure to back up with Time Machine because it will restore the files and keep them organized. So if you have comments or questions, leave them in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you to find out what tech tips that you would like to see me cover in future videos. And speaking of videos, be sure to subscribe to myself, Burton Kelso, or Integral, my company. Oh, went to the wrong side. There we go. Now it matches up. Subscribe and look at the hundreds of videos there that are designed to help you get more from the technology that you use in your day-to-day life. So take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile. And thanks for watching.